Back to another weekly watch list video. I'll be going over some names I'm looking at for this week, and let's get right into it. So first off, we're gonna do Qs, SPY, and DIA. Again, with Qs, price is still in this big ass range. All we're gonna be doing is waiting until if price could break above 613, or if price could break below 600. So all I'm gonna be doing is waiting until price breaks above my levels or below my levels. We are kind of still pretty getting tight on the daily here. We are kind of forming a base here on the daily time frame. We're seeing price, form multiple inside days within this bearish engulfing candle, which could indicate a big move is loading up for QQQ. And again, there's nothing too much to go over right now. It's just a game of patience, and all I'm going to be doing is wait above 613 or wait below 600, and that is all for right now. And we're going to move on to SPY. So SPY, I think I kind of like this name a bit more than Qs. So right now you are seeing a strong candle on the daily time frame. You do see that rejection off that 689.64 level, but I really have been saying 690. And right now it's pretty clear that this level is pretty significant. So again, I'll wait above 690 to see it move back up to 695, 697. But again, if you break below your support level is 680. So if you break below 680, you definitely could see these retest back down to these previous wicks around 675. Okay, and that is it for SPY. So again, price closed right below the resistance. All I'm gonna be doing is wait until price could break above 690 for a move higher. And again, price did form a bullish engulfing candle, which could indicate more bullish momentum. But we've seen multiple times that's not the case for SPY in the past, because we've done a bullish engulfing which led to a bearish engulfing, and you guys get the picture of what's been happening with the market. Okay, the last one with the ETFs is going to be DIA. So again, I mentioned it in last Sunday's video, is I'm going to wait for price to retest this 496 level for DIA. Price obviously did break down, and we are at that level right here at 496. So again, price is still kind of forming a big chop box right here. So again, if we see price break out from 496, we could definitely see it move back up to 505 for DIA. I need to actually alert this because I do want to play this. Oh, oops. Let me see. I think I already have an alert on this shit. All right. Yeah, definitely have an alert on that for DIA because I definitely want to play that. But again, I'm not going to be really too interested if we do break below these lows. You could definitely see a retest back down to 48 if that does happen, or even 44. But again, my play for this week is wait above this previous all-time highs and see a retest back up to 505 on the daily time frame. Okay, so again, that is it for QQQ, SPY, DIA. Pretty easy plays, and we're going to move on to the Mag 7. And yeah. So again, for Amazon, what we're looking at is if, I did mention in the video that we are retesting that 200 level, which is a psychological level on the daily time frame. So again, if you break above 212 for Amazon, you could definitely see a reversal back up to 237. Why I say 237 is because it was a prior top of the range level. So if you look here for 237, you see multiple times we've retested that. We bottomed here around 212 multiple times here, which led to another run to 237. Again, that 212 level has always been a level of interest for me, and obvious to other buyers and sellers. So again, I'm gonna wait until price breaks above 212, but also keep in mind that we are trading below a declining 21 EMA. So again, if we do see our price break out here, you could definitely see a retest back down to this level to continue up higher. Oh yeah, and I just realized that 212 level is also a gap resistance level on the daily time frame. So again, all I'm going to say is I would be looking if we could break above that 212 level to see a reversal back up to 237. And also your support levels is 200 and 190. But to be honest, I am now looking to short Amazon because I'll be looking to buy here, since if price does dip back down to 192, this was previous April tariff crash highs, which is definitely a level of interest of mine, which I'll be looking to buy for Amazon. Okay, so again, that is it for Amazon. I will be definitely keeping an eye on Amazon above 212, and we're gonna move on to the next name, which is Meta. So for Meta, again, price is forming higher lows on the daily and weekly time frame, and we're kind of forming a possible U-shaped reversal here on the 4-hour and the daily. And really what I'll be looking at is if we could hold above 650, we could see a retest back up to 675, 673. But really, if you guys want to play it safe, or what I'll be doing, I'll be looking to see if we could break above 675 to definitely see a retest back up to this previous level of, a previous high on the daily time frame, which is 741. So I would definitely be looking at Meta above 675 for a move to 740. Again, obviously, if you break back below 650, I think that's where things could be a little suspicious, and we could see a move back down to 600 if we do lose these lows here on the daily, which is 628. Okay, and that is it for Meta. So again, if you guys want to play it safe, I'll be looking for a breakout above 675 to see a move back up to this previous high, which is at 741. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next name, which is gonna be Apple. Sorry. Again, for Apple, we called out the bottom here at 245, and now you saw that amazing run up to 280, which played out perfectly. So again, trend is still very bullish on the daily, so we're forming these higher lows. Again here, higher lows. So all I'm gonna be looking to see if we could break above 265 for Apple, because like I said, this was a previous demand level in the past. So previous demand levels could act as resistance, but once you break above that previous demand level 265, you could definitely see a retest back up to 280 on the daily time frame. Again, I won't be looking at the downside. I'm just interested in Apple above 265 to see a move back up to 280 on the daily time frame. Okay, so that is it for Apple. Really quick and easy play. And the next one is going to be Microsoft. So again, price, if we look here on the weekly time frame, we see a clear picture of what's really happening with Microsoft. We've seen times where we bottomed here on the trend line, lower trend line here, and you kind of see almost approach that level on the weekly where we saw that crash happen in last April, and now we're seeing that price retest this prior level of resistance here on April crash, and we're at the low of this trend line here on the daily and weekly time frame. So what I'll be looking at for Microsoft, if we could see price hold around this 396, 392 for at least a relief bounce back up to at least 425 or 405. Again, below 390, I am not interested in Microsoft because things could get a lot more dangerous. We could see price essentially break down and possibly fill this gap on the daily time frame all the way down to 370. And again, just definitely keep an eye on this name since price is at a critical level here, which was a prior top, and we saw that previous breakout here on Microsoft. Okay, again, you did feel like gap on the daily and weekly time frame, which could be a great sign for bulls. But again, also keep in mind that price is oversold on the daily and weekly, and also note down that even though we're oversold, we haven't seen buyers really stepped up around here on the weekly or daily time frame, which could be suspicious in my opinion. Again, so price is at a critical level for Microsoft. We need buyers to step up here. If not, we could see price break down and essentially fill the gap on the daily time frame at 370. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next name, which is Tesla. So on Tesla, we are forming this price action has been very tight on the daily time frame. If you look here I think you can see a better picture on the 4-hour where price is literally coiled up on the 4-hour. We see here that we haven't really moved at all since Tuesday last week. So again, what I'll be looking at for Tesla is a break above 420 or even 414 for a move back up to 430 or 440. So again, mark my levels here, and also I always have 450 as a level. So again, my play for Tesla is break above 414 or 420. If you guys want to play more safe, which I'll be looking to do, that is above 420. I'll be looking for a move back up to 440 or 450 on the daily time frame. But if you look here on the weekly time frame, trend is still very bullish. We're still forming these higher lows on the weekly time frame, and price is obviously coiling up. But again, also keep in mind that we are under the 8 and 21 EMA on the weekly time frame, which could act as resistance. So just keep that in mind. But again, if we see this clean breakout on this falling wedge, we could definitely see a reversal play out for Tesla. So again, I'm not looking for the downside. If you guys want to play the downside, I'll be looking for maybe more downside below 380, because you could definitely see a retest back down to all the way to 356 for Tesla. So again, your support levels is 380, 400, and yeah, that's what I'll be looking at. So again, 420 and 414 for breakout for Tesla. So we're gonna move on to the next play, which is gonna be coin. So sadly, this name did break down terribly, but it did fall down to my demand level on the weekly time frame. And again, you know, if price is at this weekly demand level, I'll be looking for at least an attempt for a relief bounce back up to 200 or 175. So again, I mentioned this on my Discord. Above 170, you could definitely see an attempt for a reversal back up to 200 or 195. But again, keep in mind that we are way far down from the weekly 8 and 21 EMA. So you could definitely see a strong relief bounce soon if Bitcoin starts to reverse on the weekly time frame. So again, above 170, keep your options open for coin, because we could definitely see a retest back up to 200 and to 235. And I won't be looking to the downside play until we break below this weekly wick on the weekly time frame, which is below 150 or 146 on the weekly time frame. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next thing, which is gonna be MSTR. Okay, so for MSTR, it's the same play. You know, price has fallen down 75% since all-time highs. And again, if we look here on the daily or weekly time frame, we have previous bottomed here on the daily and weekly. So again, so what I'll be looking at, you know, price is forming a channel here. And if we see price break above 131 or 139, we could definitely see an attempt for a relief rally here on the weekly time frame. And my target above 139 is roughly 175. But again, if you guys want to play it safe, is that weekly 80 EMA and 21 EMA on the daily, on the weekly time frame. I apologize. So again, above 139, 131, you could see a relief bounce back up to 150, which is the 80 EMA on the weekly and the 21 EMA on the weekly time frame. Okay, so that is it for MSTR. I'm not really interested in downside play. All I'll be looking for is a break above 139 or 131 for attempt for a breakout. And if you look here on the 4 hour, you can clearly see this channel playing out. And if we see that price break above my level, which is 139, you could definitely see an attempt for a rally. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next name, which is PLTR. So again, if you look here, I think PLTR is a little tricky name. So again, price is at this previous level here at 125. Multiple times we're seeing price reject here, and bottomed here. So again, this previous 125 level is a massive level for PLTR. And we look here on the 1 hour time frame, you are kind of forming a potential cup and handle. So again, you know, you have your cup here and you're kind of forming this weird handle here. So again, if we break above 135, which is the play that I'm going to be giving out, above 135, above 135, you can see it move back up to 145. But really, my main target above 135 is at least retest this previous level of demand, which is 150 to 160. And you know, this could be a U-shaped reversal, but then again, this could be an area of sellers. So we could potentially see a PLTR come back down and maybe form a double bottom, you know, before we actually really bottom on the weekly time frame or the monthly time frame. But again, I'm just looking at PLTR above 135 for an attempt for a relief bounce. And that is it for PLTR. And again, you are at this previous demand level at 125. So if you fall below 125, really, you could definitely see buyer step around this level. But really, my main target below 125 is possibly $100 for PLTR. Okay. So again, the last two ETFs we're going to be going, or the last three sectors we're going to be going over is XOC. So if we look here on XOC, I mentioned this on the Discord as well. You know, keep an eye above 115 for XLC, because you could definitely see an attempt for above 117, which obviously is playing out. So top holdings, I believe, is Netflix, Microsoft, and I forgot the other two, but yeah. So again, all I'm really gonna be looking at for XLC is a break above 117.6, because you could definitely see a retest back up to 120 on the daily time frame. Again, I'm using that 115 level as support level. So if we see price break back below, you could definitely see price retest 113 and 112, and possibly head down lower to the April low crash from last year. Okay, so we're going to be moving on to the next name, which is XLF. I mentioned this was a bear flag, which was like very sus price action, which sadly we did break down from this, but price is buyers are stepping up this previous demand level here on the weekly and daily time frame. And if you look here, this was a prior support and resistance in the past. So again, if we see XLF financials really start to bottom here with these strong daily candles, you could definitely see an attempt of a relief bounce soon for XLF and possibly retest $54 here on the daily. So again, price at that support level. So if you see price break below that, that's where things could get tricky and possibly look really bad for the financials, and maybe see a correction down lower to even 50 or 49.5 on the daily. So again, keep in mind that financials are at a big demand level here. So look at your financial stocks to see if they're forming any bottom signals or a potential reversal pattern. Okay, we're going to be moving on to the last one is going to be XLY. XLY tops holdings are Tesla and Amazon. So again, I'll be looking at XLY, above 117.75. I did mention out the Discord that price is at that previous demand level here on the daily, and that's exactly what happened. Buyers did step up here. So really what I'll be looking at is if price could break above 117.75, which is a prior level of support and resistance. So again, above 117.75, look for a move back up to the previous top of the range, which is 121.5. And again, so your support level is 115. And that is it for right now, guys. Hope you guys liked the video. Quick and easy video and super easy plays, to be honest. So really what I'll be looking at for this week to see is if tech could really step up the play and we could see a potential bounce on Qs, or at least a reversal back to previous highs on Qs. Okay, that is it for right now. Hope you guys liked the video, and peace.